Victimization can stunt or halt your growth. Once you reach a certain point in your life, you should know better. Once that innocence is gone, you need to learn to stop victimizing yourself, okay? You got to learn to take accountability and take better control over your life and the choices that you make. And what I mean by innocence, there's no specific age for innocence to be gone. I feel like people lose their innocence at different times in their life. Some people can lose their innocence in their teenage years, and I'm not talking about sexually. I'm talking about behavior wise. You should know better. I would say that people who are more active in the world, they get out, they do a lot of mingling, they travel different places. They're just kind of like really active in the world. And I know, like, at young ages, there is a period of time where one may go buck wild and do like lots of partying, drinking, and other things. But I feel like when a person loses their innocence, it happens at different points in their lives. Me personally, I feel like I didn't lose my innocence until, put this way, I didn't lose my innocence at 18. I believe that a certain point of naivety, if that's even a word, being like naive, a person being easily, manipulated. I feel like those types of people still hold a certain type of innocence, like they don't know. But when you start to, tap into your power, step into your power, I feel like that's part of losing your innocence in a way. Basically saying that you should know better with the choices that you make. Ooh, this is really hard to explain. So why am I talking about innocence and victimization? Let's compare, let's say, a 17-year-old with abusive parents. Now, that 17-year-old may, let's say she breaks free at 18. But breaking free from those abusive parents, she's going to go out into the world and she's going to experience things. It may take her some time to be able to learn how to heal what she went through and whatever. And once she's able to heal and learn certain things and start taking accountability for her actions, she slowly starts to lose that innocence, where she's going to start being held more accountable for, I guess you can say, her actions. I don't know if I'm making sense to anybody, but this is just the way that it's coming out, so I'm putting it out there. So it's the more, I don't know, like, adult-like life that she lives, her innocence slowly dwindles down, as well as, I guess you can say, certain choices. If she continues to make the certain choices over and over and over again, her innocence may wear you down too. Because if you see her making that same choice over and over and you're getting the same results, you're not learning. You're not learning from your mistakes. And if you're constantly being pointed in another direction and you're refusing to take that direction, I feel like your innocence goes away as well. This is really weird explaining it. Okay, so we're going to back away from the innocence a little bit and we're going to go back to the victimization. So basically, I can see how she would be a victim shortly after leaving like an abusive relationship, because she is a victim, you know? And so, but once that 17-year-old reaches a certain point in her life, I really don't want to put an age on it, but I will in this particular instance. Once that 17-year-old, leaves her parents, whatever, and I'm going to say she's 40 years old. I'm just going to say it like that. She has no business continuing to victimize herself, to, being the victim. She should know better at that age. 40 years old, making the same mistakes for the past 30, 35 years. No. Learn from your mistakes and move on with your life so that you can grow. Not, like I said, I didn't want to put an age on it, but that's just the best way that I can, describe it. And then I guess you can say another type of victimization. I know it's going to rub people the wrong way, but I'm going to say it anyways. When it comes to the melanated community, I see it all the time where people in the melanated community wants to continue to blame the Europeans, the lunar people, for why they are the way that they are. Blaming them, oh, they enslaved us, they did this, they did that, so that's why we live the way that we do, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. That's victimization. Slavery, don't get me wrong, okay, so technically speaking, slavery never went anywhere. It's just been more so in a covert way. We are still, okay, slavery still exists, and you can, that's another video, but keep playing the victim when it comes to something that didn't happen to you, but it happened to your ancestors or whatever. I really think it's important to get out of that mindset. And I've actually had a conversation with someone early this year. I'm like, I'm not going to put that victimization mentality into my offspring. I'm not going to sit here and tell my offspring, oh, you got to watch out for cops because they be out for, melanated men and everything. They don't get treated fairly. You put in victimization in their head. Therefore, when you do that, you are limiting them. You are limiting their power. You are keeping them in lower form, in lower vibration. In lower vibration, telling them that you got to be careful going out into the world, and you got to be careful of cops and the Europeans, they keep us enslaved, they do this, they do that, so I'm living in poverty. That's victimization that I refuse to teach my offspring. This was kind of a difficult one to bring up because I wasn't for sure about how I can get this message across. But it's just something that I see a lot. And all I'm saying is that if you keep making yourself a victim years down the road after, something has happened to you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years in the past, and you keep making yourself a victim of it, then you're going to halt yourself spiritually and mentally. It's going to keep you in a low frequency, excuse me, and you're not going to be able to elevate as high as you could possibly elevate in this lifetime. My throat's getting a little raspy, so I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video, and I hope this message made sense.